Hello and welcome to another episode of the Imperial Podcast. My name is Momeo and I'll be chatting to you about some of the news that have been going on for the past week or so. Also, I would like to apologize if you hear a crazy wind sound against my windows. Unfortunately, the UK's been hit by a storm. There we go. Been hit by a storm and my windows are not that happy about it, and neither am I. But so I apologize about the stormy, crazy noise. So our first look at Warhammer community. Happy Valentine's Day. Hope everyone had a good, lovely evening with a special one. And if not, then I'll give you some love and hugs. So I've been reading up. We usually start with the models because if you're like me, we like models. We have the Contekar Terminator Elite, which belong to the Night Lords Legion from the Horus Heresy. And as we can see, they are extremely badass. All those crazy and beautiful details. So beautiful models. I'm actually really tempted to get them and to convert them. But for one I read so far, there's no been talking about the prices just yet. But anyways, so who were the content car eliminator elites? So as far as I know, they were an elite unit within the Night Lords Legion. That if you read, they originated for the upper class within the Nostraman society, and they actually had the goal. No, they actually had the very conscious decisions to follow the leader. They didn't felt like they had to follow anyone. They just follow who they deemed worthy, and they were also often sent to take out commanders which seemed no fit or not good enough for the Legion, which happens in one of the books. I can't remember, but it was quite brutal. They just teleported into a room and opened the comic bolters on them and bye bye. But yeah, they're definitely awesome models. We might get some. And recently, from the Night Lords, we jump to new Dark Angel Terminators. Whoa, which is interesting, as these two legions came to conflict later on during the Horus Heresy when the Lion was managed to capture Conrad Curse, keeping on his ship, and then he broke free. Also the whole shenanigans during the Imperial Secundus, where the Lion had heated conversations with Gilliman about his manner of hunting down Conrad Curse, and put Sanguinius in a really funny position. But it was interesting, and in the end, he did manage to capture Conrad Curse. It was cool. Conrad Curse saw he was leading Lion to a trap, but the Lion was like, "Nah, man, this is all you do. You just bring people to traps." So, as Conrad Curse tried to get his away, he found that his exit and only exit was surrounded by Dark Angels. So he decided to go one-on-one with the Lion, which is crazy now that I think about it. I'm sorry we're just going away from the models, but it's crazy because it's difficult to kind of describe or how to prepare like a fight between a character that can see into the future. It's difficult because Conrad Curse has the ability to see glimpses of the future, and this was very prominent in a duel he had with Sanguinius, that both both of them use their ability to see in the future, and therefore keeping up with each other, even though Sanguinius was basically without armor and just wielding a sword. So the fact that the Lion was able to beat Conrad Curse, even though he has his ability, but then again, did he use it, or does he have any? Don't think he has any control over us. Now that I think about it, it just happens. Maybe it wasn't triggered because there wasn't a chance of him dying. Who knows? But at the end of the day, the lion whoops ass and carries his sorry ass to be tried by Gilliman and Sanguinius. But that's another story for another day. This Dark Angels tournament looked epic. Oh, of course, 63 pounds. Ouchie. This is my issue with watch was just 63 pounds for like you can buy a cool box of Terminators from Games Workshop for 35 pounds. And this is twice the amount. It's kind of like, come on, man. You know what I mean? It's a bit. It's just. It's not even steep. It's just way too much. Like I love this. I love the source. I think that there's so much love about these Terminators, man. So much, but Jesus. But there's so much to love, but at this price, is, you know, puts me on the back foot. You know. But hey, if you really want them, you can afford to fuck that. Now we're moving to the Psychic Awakening because this is one of the biggest events happening currently at the time in space. So, as such, I'm gonna just wanted to chill a little bit. If you hear a cat meowing, that's Maggie, and she had her food. And Maggie, you're trying to lose weight. Sorry about that, but Maggie demands attention. Maggie gets attention. As we were saying, Psychic Awakening. Maggie, why is it? You had your food. Sense. So, Psychic Awakening entails that this, sorry my pronunciation, the cicatrice maledictum has split the galaxy in half, as you can see in this really cool, beautiful map. And that unfortunately has created a lot of trouble for not just the Imperium, as if we go here, we can read some of the details about it. Oh, beautiful artwork. Thousand Sun Wizards. Oop, that's a storm. Oh, here we go. The Great Rift has cut the house in half with an etheric phenomena. So right now the galaxy as we know is been changed and mutated with the energies of the warp. In fact, as we read a bit on, we find out that within the Eldar or Eldari factions, they have suffered in fighting among their different factions, Craftworlders, Tukari, and Unari, and which is sad because on a species that's officially dying now, it's really sad. It's something I find interesting with the Eldari kind of factions. That every time one of them die, I'm like, oof, that's one step closer towards extinction. It's just, I don't know, makes me sad for them. If we keep reading, we find out that the power of the high mind of the Tyrants has become stronger, and they basically wrecked the Baal system and put the Blood Angels in the back foot, which is not good. Gene stealers are coming out of the woodworks. Cheeky bastards. And also, with the release of Shadow Sun, no run Shadow Sun, we find out that even this great reef is affecting the Tau. These species have no psychers, but even then, they're still not immune, or they don't get free pass for the horrors of chaos. So they're getting a nice, welcoming introduction to it. But if we keep reading, we find that the biggest threat indeed to the Pierce is chaos. Which I don't know. I mean, what the hell's happening to the Necrons? I wanna know what are these guys with unholy technology are doing. But anyways, so because of the Great Rev and the chaos energy or warp energy bleeding into the is allowing chaos warbands to just walk into real space. For example, we have the Thousand Sons and the Demon Pie Magnus the Red. I think new Magnus the Red had an official or an open goal, but as we read here, we found out he wants to basically create an empire for humanity that's psychic based. He wants to rebuild Prospero and turn mankind into psychic species. Good luck with that. It's interesting. So we also hearing that there's but also we're hearing so one something that's happened a couple days ago is apparently the orcs are sick in their heads, and which is fine. I've been looking for new orc models for a long time. After seeing their fantasy parallels in Age of Sigmar, I'm like, man, they need to update them. Seriously. I feel conflicted about the rules being divided into 6. No, right now there's 5, but there's definitely more coming. Why is it rules divided into so many books? It's just frustrating because I just want to buy one big book and be done with it. So far there's 5, and the next one is called the Saga of the Beast, which, as mentioned a bit earlier, the orcs are coming, and apparently they're being more organized, which is not something that, well, the Imperial hasn't seen in a long time, which is very worrisome. So, ooh, no good. Now, my question says, right? Something I like about the 40k universe is the amount of action. But for what we can see here, the Psychic wins. Everything seems to be just going after the Imperium. And I know the Imperium is basically what sets the perspective of the universe. But I do want to see more I want to see more conflict that doesn't involve the Imperium. Like, I want to see Necrons against the Orcs, or the Orcs against the Tyranids, and good more often. I know there's samples of lore and novels, but I just want to see more often. So now that we learn a bit of the Psychic Awakening, there's been releasing little stories. One of them is called Harmony Restore, which is basically follows a squad of humans that have torn from the Imperium and have joined the Tau. We always hear about it because the Taus are really good at making their propaganda about the greater good and so on and so forth. But this story, even though short, is quite gripping. So you have the little human squad that have turned to the Tau, and they're trying to survive and complete their mission within Imperial City. But as they're doing this, and not only dealing with the Imperial Guard, they're also dealing with the Gene Stealer cults that are rising at the same time. So it's practically a free for all, and you're seeing it from the perspective of this human friendly, Tau friendly humans. Cool. Definitely check out. It only takes like 5 minutes to read, but it's really good. And then from this one, there's another one that came out. Call of the Wow, which goes to the fact of the orcs being affected by the Great Rift, and maybe among them, one of them is being powered or guided, but who knows? At the we see this character. What's his name? Tragrot. 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 So this arc, interestingly, is very well written. Tragrot looks up to the sky in this story, and he starts seeing faces, but unfortunately, he doesn't see Gork or Mork. He sees something else, and I think it's the herald of the whole of the warp bleeding into real space. And as we read the story, thanks to the energy of the warp spreading through the whole galaxy, the number of odd boys is increasing, and their powers as well. I'm not gonna give you too many spoilers of the story, but basically you get to see how much the odd boys change, or they're gonna be changing soon, thanks to the new energies coming out of the warp. Cool story, man. Even though short, but I like seeing stories where the orcs are they're not treated as just angry things that just wants to kill. Even though I know that they are, but I like to read the personalities. It's really cool. Especially they have some good old British humor, and it always makes me laugh, man. It's very good. So we covered new Terminators for Night Lords, Dark Angels, and a bit of a psychic awakening, and also found out that there's going to be a new series based on within the Warhammer community based on Adeptus Titanicus, which is I'm happy for it because I love the models and I love the idea. I hope it's successful, man. Because if you ever read a book or listened to an audiobook based around conflict or combat between this crazy engines of war, the way they tell the story is so cool, man. It's kind of like you have the pilot, and to them the robot or the machine is alive and is part of them, and they're part of the machine. And when they can describe it as you would expect it, a pilot and their crew trying to overcome this warfare between machines, or sometimes they tell you stories the machine has its own persona and acts accordingly to it. It's always so cool. Funny enough, there was the last book I was listening to was a Warhawk Titan, and the way they portrayed this personality, it was so cool because it was damaged during the combat. It got damaged and it had to retreat, and it was like it was the way they described how expressive, like you could tell the pride and the shame on the necessity to retreat. It was so cool. And of course, good looking models, man. Good looking models. So I hope this picks up. I hope people enjoy it. I would definitely be interested in to acquire the models. Maybe play. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have access or meet up a lot of Warhammer community that plays near where I live. But even then, if I buy them all, it'll probably take centuries to paint them, so that doesn't help either. But I do hope the engine kill does well. Necromunda. We are in Necromunda now. Bring your guns. We're gonna get mugged. So, remember on the last episode we talked about all those roided up guys that looks like Bane, but in 40k. We go. So, we got new rules for the Goliath. and new models. They are weird. They are weird. Oh, that's a nasty. Oh, I can't remember the name of this weapon, but I think it was a man catcher. I think it was something like that. This guy just looks on something out of. Oh no, never mind. Ooh, so House of Chains Hungry. Hungries have had enough of you standard human nonsense. That's an amazing painting or illustration. So the new gang of Hungries. Oh, look at them. Yeah, that's scary. I don't want to be walking towards these guys anytime soon. That's cool, man. Then we got little rules here. Pro skip because I don't play the game, but I want to see more. Definitely want to see more of the Ogres. They also should get more kind of Imperial Guardsman equipment or something like that. Maybe one of them was like a former member or a former trooper. Oh, but they're cool anyway. They're so. I love their. Are they power feds? Their gauntlets. I love their gauntlets. They're so badass. And this guy missing an arm and a leg. Jesus, man. He's not going down, is he? That's a weird helmet, but. So, I guess if he's happy. No, happy, man. It's good seeing new models for the small, sometimes underappreciated aspects of characters or units of the ever expanding Warhammer universe. So I'm always up for that, especially when they're really well done and really creative. So the Hungry Boys get seal of approval, thumbs up, even though they're gangsters. And now we go to oh yeah, I'm excited for that actually. New arrivals to the Blackstone Fortress, and it's Death Guard, the Smelly Boys. I have so I don't know if I have enough. I have 10 Death Guard plus the Lord of Contagion, so I don't have enough for a full army, but definitely for a kill team. So these boys, the Death Guard boys are coming to the Death Guard boys are coming to join the fray in Blackstone. Yes. Oh, look at that. That's an amazing drawing. I should probably base once I get to painting my Death Guard, I should probably base them off this illustration. Yeah, I probably do that. We had a bit of story here, explaining what are the Death Guard doing in the Blackstone. The warband known as Infested Brethren are members of the 6th Place Company of the Death Guard. Okay, so they're of the actual Legion and not just. They have dedicated themselves to capturing Imperial vessels and turning into diseased vectors to spread. Oh, you nasty, nasty man. Once they learn about the dark, damn it, they just couldn't leave it alone. They realize the power of the organization and could, oh yeah, they want to spread diseases. They sound the cruiser, the Cest of Sorrow. Oh man, that's horrible. You nasty, nasty. Oh, here we go. Those once they arrive in the fortress, once they arrive in the fortress, they say about their task. Oh, so they're happy, happy-go-lucky guys. They just want to spread disease and get on with it. That's cool. So yeah, hey, I'm happy, man. This one of the cool factions, one of my favorite factions aesthetically. It's a shame that they become stinky and horrible, but that's what makes them scary, I suppose. The disease-ridden bodies and the fact that if you weren't, this is why one of the examples as to why I always, most of the time, try to make my characters wear helmets. Because if I was in this universe, there's no way I would take my helmet off unless it suffered damage or something along those lines. Because the fact there is one faction that its all purpose is spreading disease and like, nope, thank you. Well, but sure, they must have some horrible disease that goes through the helmet filters and you stick it all nasty. But anyways, people who enjoy Backstone Fortress, get your Death Guard boys on. Ooh, actually, let me know if I can join. No. This is news I'm actually really excited for. I think it was, if it was not last episode, the episode before last, I talked about shortly in regards to Warhammer creating new media for the universe, and they started making animated series, and I'm all for that. I always love animated series. So last time it was Angels of Death, and now we got a new. We don't know the name for it. It's no official name so far. But what we know is the first episode has been written by Andy Smiley, a Black Library author, which I haven't read his book. Shame on me, damn it. I need to. She spec all that we know and love from the Warhammer franchise. So that means crazy violence is coming, which is great. I wonder if it's gonna be like the Dead Space Downfall animated series. Just with this screenshot here, sends vibes, but I also makes me wonder. Let's get back to so they're giving us little character profiles. We have some Inquisitors. I like them, man. They look cool. So the Inquisition is involved. More characters that are gonna, who knows, they're gonna be in the show. Bounty hunter, look, and the assassinators involved. That would be cool if they did like an assassination only mission with 4 of them. That would be cool, man. Uh-oh, Asinos. Oh, he's definitely a foe. Ain't no friend. What are you talking about? But yeah, it looks really cool. It's almost like it has a. It's a standard of the new, well, not new, but the latest Castlevania anime, which is awesome. I do. So they're saying it's like a serial-based series, so maybe 20 to 40 minutes episodes, maybe 12 episodes per season. Who knows? Which is great. But if I hope this is successful, so it would mean that the company will become more eager and more push more towards finding ways to show their IP. I would recommend that they did something similar to what DC is doing with the new 52 animated series. making an hour and 20-minute films, and that way, because the new 52 animated film series is just so good. You have the longevity of you don't have the boundaries of a TV show, and you get the space that a film provides you, but you don't have to cram everything, so they can tell small stories within films. But this series is also going to be an anthology, so we don't know if it's like a continuous ongoing story told from different perspective, or each episode is going to be a completely different story. We don't know that just yet, but I wish this media project to become successful, because it would mean that they will more likely do more and more. So definitely excited for these guys, really excited, looking forward to it. And now we go to the last bit of this episode, the weekly character, or the character of the week. And this week's character is no other than Jago Sabatarion, on more easily Sabatar. This is one of the most interesting characters of the Horse Heresy, besides, Primax and all that. Because from my perspective, I never knew how I felt about this character. Most of the time I felt like I disliked them. Well, it was hard to ignore his kind of achievements and abilities, so it was almost like a begrudging respect that I had for him. But it's slowly, as his story continues, so I'm gonna give you a abbreviation of his story. Mr. Sabater was born in Nostramo, which was the planet where Conrad Kars arrived and developed into the man he is. And Sabater, as he joined the ranks of the Night Lord, he found that his abilities, his martial and psychic, he actually actively and consciously suppresses psychic abilities, but as his life story progresses, surely, slowly but surely, his psychic ability starts to develop, and it developed into like an almost unconscious one that he not always aware he's doing. But as far as we're concerned, he has incredible abilities, even by Space Marine standards. Took part on the Eastbound Massacre, and I listened to the audiobooks, and where he's the first Space Marine that betrayed the Emperor, that said death to the full Emperor. How dare you? But as the Horse Heresy we know, we find that from the Eastbound 5 massacre, we find that the Nine Lord's Legion breaks apart in order to survive the war that they have with the Dark Angels. They divide into many warbands, and it comes to a point that Sabater wishes to forge the whole Legion back together to join the Siege on Terra. But unfortunately, unlike other legions, the Nihilers have a very different perspective, and sometimes, most likely, they will end up betraying one another, unless it's just they're very nihilistic, and something such as honor, duty, and commitment doesn't ring with them after their lifestyle perspectives they have. So, despite Thebater wishing to reunite the Nihilus Legion, who was not very successful, and they end up broken into warbands from them on. Now, if I remember correctly, I'm sure he got captured by the Dark Angels. And eventually he has a change of heart. But there's random one here. I can see it. But anyways, really outstanding character. Really interesting character. It's almost like complete opposite Numion actually. A character Numion. Yeah, literally he's a complete opposite Numion in so many ways. But it's one of the most interesting characters in the whole Horse Heresy, and his portrait is awesome too. Well, thank you so much for hearing the podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it, um, and I hope that I'm slowly, week by week, getting better at it. Thank you so much again. Uh, have a wonderful day, and I'll be speaking to you soon. Bye bye.